Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bear Recaps. Today I will bring you the 1999 fantasy comedy movie named Being John Malkovich. Before we start, be aware there are spoilers. The movie starts with a puppeteer Craig, who is concentrating on his puppet play at late night. Craig is unemployed due to the bad economy, and his wife Lotte suggests he try something else before finding another puppeteer job. On the street, Craig is putting on a puppet show of the love story of Abelard and Heloise while a little girl stops to watch. But she apparently isn't the target audience of such mature content. When the girl's dad takes a look at the show, Craig gets beaten up. After that, Craig starts to look for a job in a newspaper where he finds a position as a file clerk. When he arrives at the building, he discovers the company is on the 7.5 floor, but it doesn't have a button for it in the elevator. A woman comes in and notices his bewilderment, saying she can help him get to the floor. She picks up a pry bar aside and hit the stop button right before the 8th floor. Then she pries open the doors and Craig thanks her for the help before heading out. However, it's even more strange for Craig to find that the ceiling is so low that he has to bend double. He goes to the company's receptionist Florence, who keeps mistaking what people say and is oblivious to it.
Oh, yes?
Chest?
I said yes.
You suggest what?
Later, Craig meets with the company's owner, Lester, for the job interview. Craig mentions that the secretary mistook his name, but Lester points out she's not his secretary.
And I'm not banging her, if that's what you're implying.
No, sir, not at all.
Lester proceeds with the interview where he asks Craig which letter comes first. A confused Craig simply says the symbol on the left isn't a letter, after which Lester praises him saying he's just trying to trick him. Craig also quickly finishes the next test with his dexterous fingers. Hearing Lester complains about his own speech impediment after talking with Florence, Craig tells him he doesn't have any speech impediment.
Flattery will get you everywhere, my boy.
Craig gets accepted for the job and inquiries about the low ceiling, to which Lester replies that it'll be covered in the orientation. Craig enters a room and starts watching the orientation video where it says the floor was built for the owner's dwarf wife. While watching, Craig notices a charming woman behind him and is instantly smitten by her. After finishing watching, he tries to strike up a conversation with her, but she looks totally uninterested and simply ignores him. Back at home, Craig and Lotte are preparing dinner while the place is crowded with Lotte's all kinds of pets. Craig seems annoyed but doesn't display his inner emotions. Lotte later brings up her thought of having a baby, but Craig just dodges it, saying their economic situation isn't good enough. The couple seems to live in harmony, but they both refrain from expressing their disappointments. The next day in the company, Craig still tries to talk to the woman, but she straight tells him that he wouldn't have a clue what to do with her if Craig ever got her, leaving Craig to laugh awkwardly. Later, while Craig is working, Florence flirts with him, praising his quick fingers.
Maybe you could alphabetize me. And don't forget, I comes before you.
Craig responds saying he's in love with someone, but Florence just pretends to not understand what he's saying and storms off. Lester warns him not to toy with Florence and wishes he was younger so Florence would care for him.
I want to feel Florence's naked thighs next to mine.
Craig politely stops him before Lester proceeds with the graphic descriptions, and Lester tells him to meet him after work for more of his stories. After work, he bumps into the woman in the hallway and stops her, saying if he manages to guess her name in 3 attempts, she has to have a drink with him. She hesitates for seconds, but agrees anyway.
Maxine?
Yeah.
That's just cheating. Strange that Maxine didn't get weirded out. So she agrees on meeting him at a bar at 7 o'clock. But before that, he has to listen to his boss Lester sharing his flings.
My spunk is to you as manna from heaven.
And as it gets close to the appointed time, Craig excuses himself for getting back home to his wife, and Lester then arranges another dinner with them after hearing that. Craig rushes to the bar and just makes it on time, but the meeting ends really fast.
Well, I'm a puppeteer, and I've been...
Check.
Back at home, Lotte is going to bed with the pet chimp, saying he doesn't feel very well, and Craig then says he needs to go to his workshop for a while. It turns out he's making a puppet of Maxine while Lotte's is left aside. In Craig's show, Maxine falls in love with him, and they make out at the end. The following day, Craig still keeps trying to talk to Maxine, saying he feels something for her, which not even his wife does.
Oh.
During work, a file accidentally falls behind a cabinet. And when he moves the cabinet, a small hidden door is discovered by him. He opens it only to find it's a tunnel leading to somewhere. Although hesitant, he still lets his curiosity gets the best of him and crawls into it. As he's moving forward, the door behind suddenly shuts, and he gets sucked towards the other end. It seems like he enters someone's mind, and he soon realizes it's the movie star, John Malkovich. Moments later, he gets ejected and falls onto somewhere near the New Jersey Turnpike. He soon rushes to Maxine's office and excitedly explains everything he just experiences. But Maxine apparently doesn't buy it and leaves. However, Maxine contacts Craig later in the day, proposing that they make money by selling the tickets to the portal. Craig is hesitant initially as he still doesn't know much about the portal, but agrees on it anyway since he's already a simp for Maxine.
I need you for this, Craigie. You're my man on the inside.
You need me? I'm your man.
Sure, whatever.
I think there are surely better ways to make money from it. Craig explains to Lotte that he will have to work late with his partner because they can't do it during the day. Lotte doesn't believe such a portal exists and wants to try it, so Craig takes her to the door. Although scared, she's still determined to experience being John Malkovich herself. While she enters it, Malkovich is taking a shower, and Lotte immediately falls in love with the feeling of being a male. After that, she becomes obsessed and wants to go back, but Craig says they are late for Lester's dinner. At Lester's home, when Lotte is looking for the restroom, she enters another room by accident, where it's full of Malkovich's photos of different ages. But she refrains from telling Craig about the discovery, but Craig doesn't fail to notice the obvious change after she took the portal. The following day, while Craig and Maxine are preparing to post an ad on a newspaper, Lotte comes into the office, wanting to take the portal again. As she reveals her thoughts of being transsexual, the couple gets into an altercation. Maxine then jokingly tells Craig to let her go, so he takes Lotte to the portal again. Later, Maxine calls her friend for looking up John Malkovich's home phone number. While Lotte enters Malkovich's brain again, he is reading a book aloud, and Lotte enjoys having such a manly voice. Just then, Maxine calls in and wants to arrange a date with him that night. Malkovich is visibly annoyed by the unwanted interruption and hangs up. But Lotte has been totally attracted by the confident female voice from the other end.
Meet her there, meet her there. Meet her there.
Lotte's repeating voice seems to influence Malkovich's thoughts, and he writes down the address. Therefore, Malkovich meets with Maxine that night while Lotte is in the portal. She's surprised to see the woman is actually Maxine, and also gets smitten by her.
I've never been looked at like this by a woman before. I think I'm sweating.
After that, Lotte doesn't mention her affection for Maxine, but she says they should invite Maxine for a dinner. Craig tries to turn down the idea, but agrees when Lotte insists. Craig and Maxine soon have their first customer, and it turns out the guy really enjoyed the experience, although it takes $200. Maxine comes to Craig's home and has dinner with the couple, where she's bored by their interests. After dinner, they are having joint cigarettes on the couch, and Maxine talks about life casually.
And the ones who don't go after what they want? Well, who gives a shit about them anyway?
God, Lotte!
Craig!
Maxine admits she's also smitten by Lotte, but only when she's in Malkovich's body, from which she can sense the feminine longing in his eyes. She tells Craig don't have hard feelings about it and leaves the couple in awkward silence. The next night, while working, Maxine receives a call from Lotte, wanting to meet her as Malkovich, to which Maxine readily agrees. Craig can't sleep at late night, seeing his wife missing. Meanwhile, Maxine goes to Malkovich, but deliberately waits until Lotte enters his brain at the appointed time.
My sweet, beautiful Lotte.
Oh, Maxine.
Did you call me Lotte?
Do you mind?
No, not really.
The two soon have some aggressive cuddling, during which Lotte experiences intense pleasure. When she gets home, a waiting Craig confronts her about her deeds, but can't do anything about it but slam the door in anger. The next day at work, Craig is much distressed by it and questions if Maxine does it on purpose to torture him. But she simply says she's fallen in love and that it is quite a thrill to see desires from two people through the same pair of eyes. Craig is even more infuriated by the remarks and storms off. He hides in his home waiting for Lotte with a gun in his hand. On seeing her coming back, he holds her down on the floor and forces her to arrange another date with Maxine, after which Lotte is locked in the chimp cage, tied and gagged. In this way, Craig finally fulfills his desire with Maxine riding on top of him. While the two are exercising on the couch, Craig keeps telling Malkovich to touch Maxine's chest, which actually works and even makes Malkovich say what Craig's saying. But soon Malkovich notices his own abnormal behavior and realizes something is off. Craig gets home excitedly and is overjoyed that he made out with Maxine, and moreover, he thinks he's probably able to completely control Malkovich with a little more practice. On the other side, a disturbed Malkovich confides his weird experience to his friend Charlie Sheen, who doesn't take the issue seriously at all.
She could be like a fucking witch or something.
Hot lesbian witches, think about it, it's fucking genius.
In order to find out the truth, he starts to stalk Maxine and ends up discovering the long line outside the office. He asks a guy what the service is about.
You get to be John Malkovich for 15 minutes.
On learning that, he heads toward the office, but the others think he's cutting in and stop him, which causes a commotion. Then everyone finds out he's actually John Malkovich himself. He barges into the office and asks for an explanation of what is happening. But he's not convinced by any words from Craig and demands to take the portal himself. Maxine then tells Craig to let him take it, despite the fact another guy is still in it.
What happens when a man goes through his own portal?
We'll see.
After entering the portal, Malkovich finds himself in a restaurant where everyone looks exactly like him and the only thing they say is Malkovich. Soon he gets ejected and furiously threatens that he will see Craig in court if he doesn't close the portal.
What makes you think I won't be seeing what you're seeing in court? Hey, Malkovich, think fast!
Craig returns home, feeding Lotte's pets, and soon gets into an argument with her, where they blame each other's betrayal of their marriage. Craig seems to come to the realization that he has gone too far on this.
What am I? Some kind of monster?
Lotte also tries to comfort him and convinces him to let her out. He walks up and opens the cage door, but also takes out the phone again. Seconds later, Maxine receives a call from Lotte asking for another date, which obviously is compelled by Craig. Lotte vainly struggles to break free from the tie, which awakens the chimp's memory of where he failed to rescue his trapped parents. As a result, he tries to help untie the rope and manages to free Lotte, who then immediately exposes the truth to Maxine. At first, Maxine is shocked to learn the revelation, but she soon realizes Craig's ability to control Malkovich can be of great use. She tells Lotte she loves her, but has to go and hangs up, which leaves Lotte brokenhearted. Not long after, while Maxine and Craig are about to have some fun on a dining table, a saddened Lotte goes to visit Lester. Lotte points out that she saw the Malkovich museum room last time, and supposes she might need his help to get into Malkovich's body. Consequently, Lester reveals that he discovered the portal 90 years ago, and figures out that he can live forever by changing the carrier. In fact, he's not Lester, but the building owner who built it to seal the portal. And Malkovich will be his next ripe vessel on his 44th birthday. However, he has to enter the portal by midnight, otherwise, he will be trapped forever in the next newly forming vessel, where he has no control but is forced to watch the world through someone else's eye. And this time he decides to take some of his friends with him. On the other side, Craig discovers that he can control Malkovich indefinitely now as he starts to get along with the body. Maxine asks Craig to show her his puppeteering with Malkovich's body, and it turns out to be a brilliant and stunning performance. It occurred to Craig that he can use Malkovich's fame to launch his puppeteering career, which Maxine thinks is brilliant. Lester's friends like Lotte being with them as well, but Lotte warns them of the existence of Craig and Malkovich. The scene then shifts to 8 months later, where Maxine has married Malkovich and is pregnant. Malkovich also transforms into a world-class puppeteer, and a documentary about his success is broadcast on TV on his 44th birthday. However, Maxine looks distracted and doesn't watch the show alongside Craig. Moments later, Craig proceeds to head for another puppet show, after which he receives a standing ovation from the audience. But once he gets back home, he finds the house is a mess and that Maxine is missing. Shortly after, he gets a call from Lester, who claims they have abducted Maxine and will kill her if he doesn't leave the body. Not knowing what to do with the dilemma, Craig hangs up nervously, causing Lester to think their plan fails. In a fit of rage, Lotte walks toward Maxine and takes out a pistol, which prompts Maxine to run into the portal for her life. A chase then ensues in Malkovich's subconsciousness, and it's not long before they both get ejected. In the chaos, Maxine gains control of the gun, but instead of firing it, she confesses her love to Lotte.
You are so full of shit, Maxine! I know!
She then reveals that she got the child from Lotte when she was on Malkovich, which is also the reason why she kept the baby. On learning the truth, Lotte reconciles with Maxine eventually. As to Craig, after much contemplation, he chooses to leave Malkovich's body because he's just a simp at end of the day. Before the real Malkovich can celebrate his freedom, he yet again gets occupied by Lester's group. After getting thrown out, Craig is taken aback to see both of his wives hugging in the heavy rain. When he tells Maxine he gives up money and fame for her, the girls just leave in a cab.
I'm gonna go right back into Malkovich and I'm gonna kick Lester out and then you'll love me again! Maxine! Maxine!
7 years later, Lester has married Flores and gets visited by Charlie Sheen. He then tells Charlie that he has discovered a way to make them live forever. We then know that he is referring to their next vessel, Maxine's daughter, Emily. The scene then shifts to Lotte's current family where she lives a happy life with Maxine and Emily. From Emily's perspective, it's revealed that Craig is trapped inside her brain, not able to control or get out.
I love you, Maxine. Oh, look away. Look away.
That's the end of the story. Don't forget to subscribe to Bear Recaps, and here are another 2 recommended videos. Click to check them out. Hope you enjoy this video. Until next time,